My name is Kevin Kalyan, and I run multiple businesses generating over 8 figures annually. I'm the owner and broker of Gold Star Premier Properties, the owner of Gold Star Floors. I run a fix and flip and new construction and development business, and I'm also in the financing industry. What I don't like to do is brag. I like to work. That's why they call me the Silent Mogul.
Hi, happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you. How are you?
I'm great, thanks.
All right, so first I want to say thank you for taking the opportunity to speak with me.
I'm excited to be here. It'll be fun.
I've been following you for a while, and I must say I'm very impressed with your following, with your page, and with everything that you do for the real estate community.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm always happy to help everybody understand sort of like simplifying the socials because it's really overwhelming.
So without further introduction, I wanted to just give you the opportunity and the platform to introduce yourself and to let everybody know what you're about.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having me on. My name is Chelsea Peitz. I am first and foremost a mom and a wife and a rescue dog owner. And I've been in the real estate industry, oh my gosh, I think 22 years now. So well before social media even existed, I was a realtor. I had my license for 18 years and, did not really use social media at all because we didn't have it back then. But in the last, I would say 6 or 7, I've been primarily focused on helping the real estate professional community to embrace the socials, to demystify how the algorithms work, to really empower and not overwhelm, because there's a lot of stuff that's going on everywhere at all times. And so I've really been teaching and speaking and writing about that topic for the last 6 years. I have several books, I have a podcast, and my favorite platform of the moment is Instagram.
Well, I'm glad you said that. So for the last year, all I've been focused on is building my social media platform and presence. And I started out with a small following, and now through videos and constant posting and, Googling top influencers like you, which is how I came across your name and your profile, by the way. I believe you were either top 5 or top 10 in the most influential social media followers on Google, which is tremendous.
I didn't know that.
I was just astonished to see that you were willing to collaborate with me. And to touch on Instagram, I've been just putting out content on a daily basis to just be authentic and be myself. And I found that the more personal videos tended to get more feedback and more views, as opposed to those that were like listing focused or work related. I found that I am also a father of 2 boys. Dylan is going to be 2 in September, and Devon is actually 4 years old, and they have a lot of energy. When I take videos with them or photos with them, the response rate is almost 10 times the amount that they are for any other video content that I post. So being that you have so much experience, like, is there like a strategy or algorithm that Instagram uses for this type of content?
Yeah, so I would say, the algorithm is basically just a computer program. It's taking in data, lots of different data points, and those data points range from you liking a picture or watching a video, or did you watch the whole video, commenting and who you're talking to. And so there's all these different data points that come into play. And it's kind of like a calculator. It just takes all that data and then spits out some, how it's organizing and sorting the content. So the algorithm isn't really looking at per se, we want to promote content that has cute dogs in it. If you like looking at cute dogs, you'll see more of that on Instagram. But so it's not really algorithmically impacted. However, the question that I get a lot is, what's the right percentage of business versus human content? And I really do believe that you can make business content, so specifically real estate content, you can humanize that in a variety of ways. You can be giving a market update about the inventory, and you can create that in a video. And so your face is in it, they hear your voice. That's humanizing. When it comes to that type of content and only that kind of content, You can absolutely build a brand as the market expert with stats and market updates. The reason that both of us get more engagement typically when we have more human content, which is relatable content, doesn't mean it has to be private. Personal means human. All the things that we all do, we all eat, we all watch TV, whatever it may be that we do, we can relate to that. So what happens is there's a very different intent on Facebook and Instagram. We're not going there thinking, I need to buy a house. I'm going to go to Instagram. That doesn't quite happen like that yet. So the intent is very different. When I go to Google, when I go to YouTube, I'm looking for something specific. I sit down, I open up my computer, I see the Google screen. I actually have to type something in. It doesn't just automatically serve me something up. So when I'm looking for real estate related or community or listing related information, I'm in a mindset to consume that type of content. Now, when I'm over in Facebook and Instagram, I'm not. I don't have that intent. So that's why a lot of times your content that has to do with more business focused stuff may not get as much reach and engagement as more of the human relatable content. It doesn't mean you should not ever post it. We do still have to build our brand. We do still have to be the credible authority and expert in the real estate space. So my best recommendation is to mix it up, to have some of that human relatable content, to have some of that content that builds your brand and credibility. There's a huge difference between views and value. Views don't always necessarily mean that you're going to get a transaction. That one video that you made that was 2 minutes long that maybe didn't get as much reach and engagement as the picture of your cute dog, well, maybe somebody actually called you for business from that video that they saw 3 months or 3 years later. So it's important to not get too caught up in those metrics, but to know that we have to make content that people want to engage with. And our intent is very different on Facebook and Instagram than it is on Google.
So what's the easiest approach to make content and to put it out there? Like for me, when I first started, I didn't know anything about social media, which is hard to believe being that now I'm so out there. But when I was thinking about it, I was like, this is time consuming. How am I going to focus on my business, my family, my day-to-day, my appointments? Like, how much time do I really need to dedicate to being an influencer or a creator or whatever it may be? For me, starting out, that was one of the main reasons why I kind of held back. So how much time should you put into posting or creating content, and what's the best approach for that?
I think that for me, there's two ideas that come to me when I get that conversation or that question. One is the mindset around social media and it not being part of business or part of your prospecting or part of your time blocking. And in my mind, it truly is. It is the easiest, freest way that you can connect with your past clients. And I don't need your phone number. I don't need your email. So it's definitely a way to, if you never even posted, to talk to people that you've worked with and see what they're up to. And guess what? They actually look at their social media notifications. They may not look at their email. They may not really read your postcard that you send in the mail. Not saying you should stop doing those things, but we are trained by these products to wonder what's on the other side because we think people might be talking about us and we want to hear about us. So who just commented? Yeah, let's take a look at that. So, that's definitely one of the mindsets around social media. And I think that a lot of people I talked to after 2020 and all of us being virtual, that was it. If you weren't seeing me on social media and you didn't have my Zoom link, you didn't see me. And so there really is the ability to create these real human connections through social. It just happens to be a different platform. So I think number one, the mindset is I don't have enough time, which really means I'm afraid to learn something new. And you know what? You're right. It's going to take you a while to learn how to do it. It might take you an hour to learn how to make your first post, but it won't stay that way forever. And it will get faster, it will get easier. And I think the last piece of that is for making content. This is not my idea, this is Gary Vaynerchuk's idea, but he always said, document, don't create. And I feel like that reduces a lot of content creation stress, because if you're just kind of documenting what you're doing throughout the day, you're going to an appraisal meeting, an inspection, you're writing a contract, you're searching comps. That sounds boring to a lot of us if we put it on paper, but you can do sort of like product placement where you see a celebrity that might be holding, a Coca-Cola in their hand. They're not saying, look at this Coca-Cola in my hand. They might be holding it while they're talking about whatever they're doing on the weekend, but you're still seeing it. So while you're in your office, while you're doing the stuff that you're doing, that is that product placement that will subtly remind people that you are active, you are busy, you are helping people. So I think it's mindset. And I think it's maybe documenting, not creating at the beginning, and then you can work on the creation piece.
Is there such a thing as posting too much?
I think there can be. It's really about the person who's consuming. So when I'm thinking of brand, I break brand into 3 different categories. One is algorithms that we don't control. We have no control over the algorithms. There's no menu that they hand you and say, here's exactly everything that the algorithm is going to look at. We're kind of guessing and, seeing what happens. We don't have control over that, but we can understand how they work so that we can work smarter, not harder, and work with them. Then you have perception, which basically what you're asking about is perception. It's not our perception. It's the perception of the person on the other side of the mobile device, of the screen, who is seeing your content. We kind of have a little bit of control over that, but not really that much. And when I say we can control a little bit of that, by working smarter, you can make sure that when they are opening up those feeds, they are seeing your brand, which is the goal. And then you have content. Now that we do control, we can control how often we post. We control, is it video? Is it text? Is it, whatever format it's in? But we never control the reaction of the person consuming it. They may love it. They may not love it. And we can't really control that. All we can do is control our schedule and control the format and the actual posting. So it's really ultimately up to you. If we wanted to get into a bigger algorithmic question, if you're posting twice a day on a platform, well, the data has to be sorted. Well, which post do I show? If you're posting an AM and a PM, okay, so, well, I don't know. We got too much data almost. So I think it's really up to you. Are there people that would say, oh my gosh, I have to mute this. It's too much. Yeah, I mute people because it's too much. So if I do it, other people probably do too. But I think it's a personal strategy and decision.
So to touch on your schedule and AM, PM post, is there like a best practice of when to post throughout the day and on what specific day to post content?
I'm a big believer in not following a lot of stressful social media rules, mainly because we start to use it as an excuse. Oh my gosh, I missed my window. Oh, it was supposed to be 9:15 to 9:30 on Tuesday. And well, I'll just wait till next week. Or, oh my gosh, no, I don't know how to edit. So I'm not going to make a reel or a TikTok because I just don't know how to do that. So I like to just simplify it and say, whatever works for you is the best thing to do. If you are in your zone of genius from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. and that's when you're going to post, then go for it. Now you can pretty much schedule everything with tools that Facebook and Instagram has made. Really, the only thing you can't schedule is personal Facebook posts. But you can do scheduling. So that can kind of solve for that. So really, ultimately, are there nuances? Maybe. Saturday afternoons or Sunday mornings, maybe people might be doing things or maybe out with their family or, generally I'm looking at social media when I wake up, maybe in the afternoon and before I go to bed. So those are pretty, standard generic times to be posting. I don't think there's a magic formula of posting from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Central Standard Time on Tuesdays on different platforms. Does it make sense that maybe if you're posting at 2 a.m., some people might be sleeping? Maybe, yeah. But I don't worry too much about that.
What I've noticed, or what I've kind of seen as a trend is if I put like a story or a post, there's the same segment of followers that continuously view that post or that story on a repeated basis. So, for example, if I have 20,000 followers, 1,000 of those followers will continuously follow me. But what happens to the other, 19,000 followers? Are they seeing the content, or is or is just the algorithm set up in a way that it only shows the people that are constantly consuming your page or your posts?
So I think that is a good topic to talk about proactive engagement and proactively training the algorithm. A lot of people ask me, oh my gosh, my content doesn't seem to be performing. I'm not getting as many comments. Like, what's happening? And then I say, well, how many posts are you commenting on? How many conversations are you having a day? How many stories are you consuming?
That's like
So
a two-way street.
we have to be the ones to be the proactive engagers, what I call the super fan strategy, where we are the super fans, not us expecting to have super fans, but we are the super fans of other people's content. And again, data points, it's just looking at me commenting on your post. It doesn't know that we know each other, work together, are friends, what have you. It just says, oh, here's a data point. This account made a comment on this account. So we're going to assume that they want to see that higher up in the feed. So as long as people are opening it up, some people just don't really open up their feeds and look through it.
Yeah.
Their Instagram isn't going to be hiding your content. If they keep scrolling forever, then they'll see everything. But there is an algorithm to help show you what you're more likely wanting to see, because if I have a better experience inside of the app and I start seeing things that I want to see, I'm more likely to spend more time there, and they can serve me more ads and they can make more money and all the things. So it behooves these companies to give us a better experience and show us what we want to see closer up to the top of our feed. So those other 19,000, that may or may not be watching, I would recommend going to start conversations with those people and consuming their content. If they don't have any current content, they're probably not going to consume it anyway, because they're probably not actually active in the app. And the reason that the same people will see your content is because they've engaged with it. They've either watched it, they've tapped on a poll, they've commented, or you've had some sort of DM communication back and forth.
Okay. But for somebody that's just starting out, say they just created their Instagram account, they have 0 followers. It might seem like a strange question, but how do you get followers? How do you go from 0 to 100, 100 to 1,000, 1,000 to 100,000? Is there like a method in place to gain followers? Versus, like, I know on social media now, when I make a post, there's these scam artists that say follow me or pay for this and you get X amount of followers. And I've seen a lot of people do that and lose a lot of money by paying for those services. So how can you kind of gain those organic followers, so to speak?
Yeah, so I'm a big believer in organic community building and engaging. And I look at this as, what would it be like if we were in person on the socials? It's kind of like a networking meeting, right? You would never go up to somebody and like throw your business cards in their face and run away. You'd want to actually say, hello, how are you? Oh, you have a kid. I have a kid. Oh, they play soccer. Oh, that's awesome. You're getting to know each other in the small talk and all of that. It just happens to be online. So with that same real life example, in my mind, it doesn't seem like I would go and meet 10,000 people in 1 week and grow my community. It would be slow and steady and intentional and strategic. Are these people that are small business owners in the area that I'm selling real estate in? Those would be people that I'd want to connect with, because I want to be the resource for the community. I want to know the business owners and the restaurant owners and the principals of the school. So that would be something that I would be thinking about. And again, it's all about being proactive. It's showing up. It's supporting other people's content. It's, not having any kind of sales pitch in your direct message. It's just talking to them about their content and having, conversations and developing that relationship. And some relationships develop very quickly in weeks, some months, some years. And it's just like being in real life. And follower count really shouldn't be a goal. I'm a big believer in going deep with the community that you have, because as you know, in real estate, if you have 5 to 10 raving fans that want to refer you repeat business or refer you friends and family, incredible. That's amazing. I saw a post the other day, and I wish I remember the person's name to give them credit, but it was a post that said something like, 30 people viewed my video. 30 people is a full coffee shop. 50 people viewed my video. 50 people is like a movie theater. And I was like, yes, exactly. We think of these as such, small numbers. Oh, I only have 100 followers. Well, it's 100 human beings, so even if 10 people are engaging, but I think it should be a slow and steady process. But if you do want to know sort of a faster growth strategy for Instagram, it's using Instagram Reels, at least at this time. That's the biggest growth strategy right now for Instagram, because Instagram is pushing it out to so many different feeds. And that's a growth strategy for sure.
So would you say that's like the latest trend in real estate would be the Reels?
I think it's the latest trend in content. I actually don't even call it a trend anymore. It's kind of like video when it came out, and video is not a trend anymore. Yeah. It just is. It's a requirement. And my background is in psychology, and my degree is in clinical psych. And so I really look at these products and how they shape our behavior and our expectations. And when TikTok came out, everyone said, "Oh, that's just dancing videos. The kids are on there. I'm never going to sell a house on TikTok," which, they said that to me about Snapchat. And, it's just the new thing. And what happens is I kept telling people, now, wait a minute. If you want to dance, great. If you don't want to dance, you don't have to. But watch for this format, because what happens is this very short micro content, our brain loves it, because every time I see a TikTok, it's quick, it's fast, it's different. It hits my dopamine. I can swipe up and see something else, and again, and again, and again, and again. So it gets me hooked into that type of format as a reward to my brain. And then you start to get used to it. And it's kind of like Uber, when Uber was weird at the beginning, because I wasn't going to get into a car with a stranger. And now it's very commonplace. The same thing. TikTok, Reels, wherever they're going to call it next, it's going to be very, very universal, and people are going to prefer to consume content in that way. In many cases, I do, because I'd rather watch 10-second videos than one 10-minute video.
I feel like when TikTok, I am now getting kind of used to TikTok. I'm still not an expert per se, but the other day I was just talking to my wife, and I'm literally looking at TikTok, and 30 minutes goes by. Short span of videos, and I'm just like so hooked on the content that I'm looking at, even though it's short content. 30 seconds here, 15 seconds here, 20 seconds here, and 30 minutes goes by. It's just amazing how your brain works and how zoned out you can be.
Yeah. I mean, for better or for worse, right? I mean, that's probably not a great thing, but I'm the same way. I almost would rather watch that sometimes than television. And you're like, wow, I can't believe an hour just went by, and I'm watching 6-second videos. What's happening? So yeah, I understand that. And that is what they're banking on. That's what they're banking on, is to get you kind of into that zone where it's almost like relaxing your brain, because you're just watching so many things hit you over and over, and it's all different, and it's got music, and it's got edits and movement, and we're like, oh, this is amazing. Our brain loves it, right? It's lit up, and it's feeling like it's getting fed this engagement that we don't even know that we want. So yeah, I think that micro video, short form video, in the form of TikTok, Reels, YouTube Shorts, whatever you want to call it, or wherever it is here to stay. And I think that it's going to change how we consume and make content. Not completely, but a lot of it.
What would you say is the most effective platform today?
The one that you're using. That's it. At the end of the day, I have so many friends that are outrageously successful with TikTok. 100% of their business comes from it. I have people that are killing it with YouTube, podcasts, Facebook. I mean, really, ultimately, whatever you're going to focus on is going to expand. Are there platforms that you could argue may offer better long-term searchability and discoverability? Sure. Snapchat, is kind of like a closed system. There's not a lot of searching in there. It has improved. Whereas you get over to YouTube and it's built to be a search engine. So I think it's really just about your preferences. There isn't, I would say, maybe a best. Of course, the people who made them will say that there's a best, but it's really ultimately up to you and how you work it.
I've heard you say quite a few times in our collab today that people are generating business from the content that they're posting. How would somebody maximize their marketing efforts on any platform to garner business?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that because so many of us use social media and we've all gotten really savvy. We've all gotten really savvy to something that looks like an ad, that feels like an ad. And when we think about our own business, we don't like to think about that as an ad. So we think, oh, okay, well, I'm going to, talk about just houses and post my listings. But those really are kind of ads to the people on the other side who are receiving it. So there are certain creative ways that you can certainly talk about a listing and promote it. If the only thing you have in your posts are the obligatory picture of the front of the house with a for sale sign in it, you're missing a whole opportunity to connect with people because their intent is not right there at that time, at that second. You might get lucky with one person who's like, oh my gosh, yes, I've been looking for a house and that's the one that I want to call on. But the majority of people are not in that right place at the right time when they're on the socials. So I wouldn't necessarily talk about it as far as what kind of marketing content, although it is marketing. I would talk about what's going on in your community. What's happening with the summer camps? I'm a mom who needs to put my kid in summer camps, and it was hard to find out where those things are. Now, you might say that has nothing to do with houses. You're right. It has everything to do with you being a community resource. And also, if you're talking about summer camps, then you might have kids in summer camps as well. We might relate to one another on that. If you're talking about, foster Fridays for animal adoption. Oh my gosh, I love animals. You love animals? Okay, we're connecting on that. It could be sports, whatever it is. It doesn't necessarily just have to be a house. And I would say it shouldn't just be a house. Your brand is not your house. Your brand is you as the human being and the resource for community information.
100%. Chelsea, as we wrap up today, I just have one final question. If you could leave us with the 3 do's and don'ts of social media, what would they be?
Okay, I would say a definite do is one of my signature phrases, commenting over contenting. Content is stressful. I get it. Figuring out what to post and making it, not saying we shouldn't make content, but your comments perhaps might be the most important form of content that you have. So I would do commenting over contenting, always make that proactive engagement. We are in sales at the end of the day. It's about talking to people and relationships. How many conversations did you have today? Those are going to lead to the conversion. So commenting over contenting. I would also say that focusing on conversations in the direct message is hugely important. One, to the machine, the algorithm, because that is how it's going to determine who sees your content and vice versa. So if you are DMing with someone, they're going to see your content at the top of your feed. That's just how it works. And it's a great way to have conversations that people are going to actually see those notifications and respond to, and you don't have to call them or leave a voicemail, which they probably won't listen to. So I would definitely recommend focusing on direct message communication. Also, I would say if you do want to advertise, I'm a big proponent of organic or free relationship building and lead referrals. But there are so many great ways to advertise at a very low cost on Facebook and Instagram. To tie this in with what I just talked about in DMs, a lot of people aren't aware that you can create what's called an audience out of people that you've talked to. Maybe you've just talked to your sphere for a year. Hey, how are you? Happy birthday. Oh, great picture of the family. You're chatting in the DMs. Well, you can actually turn that into an audience, a custom audience, and then serve ads to those people if and when you feel that it's the right time to do that. Now, if I've talked to somebody for a while, they're going to remember my brand. It's not going to be this, oh, I've never seen this ad before. And I'm just, posting it out there to people who don't know me. So that conversion rate can be a lot higher. My third tip would be to optimize all of your profiles. Specifically on Instagram, we've got to optimize that profile, one, so that people find you when they're looking for your name, but also hopefully people that don't know who you are going to find you. And really, are you missing a chance for people to look at your profile and follow you? Got to really optimize that bio, be clear, concise, tell people who you are, what you do, how you can help them. And then some don'ts. Spamming in the DMs, any kind of even polite spam, I call it. Like, hey, let me know if you have anybody that maybe you can refer me. I'd be happy to help. Very polite, but that is coming into my private space where I talk to people and have relationships. And it's making me feel either, I don't really like how I feel, or I feel guilty and I have to respond now and I feel uncomfortable. We don't want that to be a part of our brand. So just have human conversations in the DMs. And before you know it, it's actually just going to lead to a natural conversation about the market, about what you can do, about how you're helping other people, and lead to those referrals. So no spams in the DM. I also, we already covered this, only doing pictures of houses or business content, I think is a don't. And let's see, the last one is, I would say, not testing out some of the new scary things like Reels or TikTok. It doesn't mean you have to just dive in there and make 3 today. Just start consuming. Just have an open mind, see what's happening over there, and embrace it. You may learn some amazing skills in creating videos. You may learn to be more confident, and you might actually get some new business. So I would say to try some of the new things. Don't try all the shiny objects, but don't be afraid to try some of the new things.
Well, I appreciate the tips. They're definitely valuable. And for anybody that's looking to get in touch with you, or to maybe purchase one of your books, or to just, have a one-on-one collab with you, how would they go about either finding you or reaching out?
Yeah, best place to find me is on Instagram. It's just my first and last name, and you can find me there. Send me a DM, and I have a ton of really helpful tutorial videos on my IGTV. I do have a link in my bio that links to my podcast and my book, and also a free download.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time, Chelsea, for talking with us today. For those who enjoyed this podcast, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Leave Chelsea or I a comment, and we'll get back to you in the next podcast.